What's up, guys? Eric here, and this is going to be my rant and review for episode 4. I believe it's 4 of Daredevil Born Again, otherwise titled Sic Semper Systema, which I looked it up and roughly translated, it is thus always the system. I believe that's what it is. I don't know. You guys can double check. That's the title. Before we get into this, we are going to be talking spoilers. So if you haven't watched the episode, you might want to close the video down, but I'm assuming you already have. It's been a full 48 hours since the episode came out. So I feel like you probably should have watched it by now. I have a lot of things I want to discuss in this review, but as always, this isn't a recap. It's a review. If you want to hear me talk in more detail about all this, definitely come in and join us for the Nerdcast on Thursdays, where we talk about more stuff from the episode. All right, with that being said, oh my gosh, you guys, I think this episode might be, thinking back now, it might be the singular best drama episode we've ever had from Marvel, of any show, not just Daredevil, any show across any of the Marvel platforms. This might be the singular best one. And I know that's a really high bar. A lot of people are probably thinking, well, no, I like this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, or this episode of Luke Cage was better, whatever you might think. I personally think this is the best one. I think every single element of this episode worked. And the pacing that led up to the final 3 moments of the episode were incredibly done, beautifully mastered. Insane. So much stuff happened this week, and he didn't even put on the suit. I have to say, though, I think we have to get back to the suit. I don't know if it's going to happen next episode, but we need to get back to the suit. But I think this, to me, what we saw in episode 4 feels like this is the full shift. This is when they turned the whole ship around from whatever it was going to be before into what we have now. So what we get in this episode that I think is quite interesting, I don't know if I have the pictures all loaded up over here. Oh yeah, here we go. Is Fisk and Vanessa talking about this affair that she had with a guy named Adam. Now, I don't know if we've ever met this character before. I just don't remember. He may have been a character in one of the previous seasons that I just forgot. Let me know in the comments if you guys remember this guy, Adam. I don't really remember him, but maybe he was someone that we saw. Maybe he's like a art guy that she connected with or something. I'm just drawing a blank on him. But there seems to be this thing where she was very, very happy with this guy. He was good with his hands. I mean, she laid it all out. He was good with his hands and she was good with that. And so this set off Kingpin. And I have to say, based on what we got in this scene, if anything is going to drive him back to who he was, it is going to be something to do with Vanessa. So I fully feel like this is the direction that we're going with his character and having him snap. Now, I don't know if this means he's going to do something to Vanessa, because it was sort of hinted at in this scene when she was talking to the therapist and she's like, one thing he'll never do is put his hands on me, or something along those lines. However she worded it, I feel like that might be leading us to a point where he is going to actually do something. I want to be wrong about that. However, it seems like this whole facade that he's got going on of being a changed person, it's slowly cracking. It's slowly cracking. And we're seeing it in his entire time as a mayor of New York, when he's going to visit these schools, when he's going to these cultural centers, things like that. All of these things he's doing, you can see the old Kingpin creeping back in, and it's beautiful. That's a crazy way to put it, right? Probably the wrong phrase, but it is beautiful to see how he is sort of morphing back into this character that we remember from back in the day. And Vincent D'Onofrio is killing it. 100%. Thank goodness that they went back to the drawing board, because I think all of the changes we're seeing that include Vanessa have really helped the show. I know a lot of people were complaining. I saw some people on social media complaining about this, about the stuff with Fisk and Vanessa in therapy. This is good shit. This is good shit. You shouldn't be complaining about this. This is very, very good. So I think we need to remember that there is more to these shows than just punching and kicking. And although I want to see Daredevil back in his suit, I want to see Kingpin throwing, punches left and right. We have to get through this. And I don't mean that in a negative. I mean, it's really well done. Let's talk about what Matt's dealing with. So he's got disillusionment with the police now because of what happened with White Tiger. We also get to meet, I think it's his niece in the show. I don't know if they confirmed that or not. I don't know how close to the comic book it's going to be, but I think it was her uncle. So, they're trying to keep that fidelity, which I think a lot of people will be happy about. We get to meet her, and we get to see them sort of like closing away this chapter with White Tiger. But Matt's not done with it. He's going around. He's struggling a bit with the concept of what a vigilante is, who he was as that vigilante, and what the system represents. And then we get reintroduced to Frank Castle. And this happens because through Matt's investigation, he determines that there are Punisher logos on bullets. We see the cops are wearing them. We've known this, the tattoos and stuff. So he's tracking down Frank to try and figure out, like, what's the situation here. This scene between Frank and Matt is quite possibly one of the best partnerships I've seen in dialogue in Marvel. And not just TV shows, but in Marvel as a whole. This is some next level shit from these two guys. Seeing John back as Punisher, amazing, beautiful. I'm ready for the full experience here with Punisher. Matt's emotions when they're talking about Foggy, crazy good. So good. I honestly think for me, as I was watching this week, I have this thing, I've talked about this before, where I'll pick up my phone, I'll look at my phone, I'll start scrolling through if I'm getting bored with something. In this week's episode, I didn't do that at all. Not one time. And that's a very, very solid bar for me. High bar. I would say solid, but people say that's sus. I don't think it's sus, but people say it's sus. It's a very high bar for me. We start talking about like the quality of a show if I'm not distracted. And I wasn't distracted at all with this episode. We got some really cool introductions. We got to finally see Muse doing creepy shit. This graffiti painting serial killer character. I'm still not sure how this is going to tie in. Clearly, this has been going on behind the scenes. Things have been happening. Matt really hasn't picked up on it yet. I'm assuming that after we saw this week's episode, we're going to follow up on that somehow. So we get this as one of the end portions of the episode. We also get a crazy scene with Kingpin that shows that he has Adam locked up under, I guess, his house. I couldn't tell what it was. Is it like in the city under the like building or something? I don't know where this is. Kingpin has so many things going on though. So it could be anywhere, but he has him locked up, showing that this is the same guy that we knew from previous seasons. He's just pretending because he has to. There was also a storyline with a character named, I think it was Leroy. I didn't recognize the character from the comics. It's quite possible I'm just not familiar with this character. He mentioned the Skrulls. He talked about how the system was broken. And I think that story was included in, maybe I was illiterate with this one, but I think they included that story to help us sort of understand why Matt is going through this process with the police department. How he's like, the system doesn't work. Foggy's killer, Bullseye, got life in prison, but is Foggy still alive, as Punisher put it? White Tiger was killed, but the cops still got away with it. Everything in this episode is telling me that Matt is on the brink of flipping over. And then we get to see him like going in to his little Daredevil hub to sort of, put on the costume again, put on the suit again. There's a lot of little fun Easter eggs in the episode and other things we can talk about. We'll go over those in the live stream because I want to talk about it with the guys. But again, this episode was as perfect as it gets for me. So I'm going to give this episode of Daredevil Born Again a 10 out of 10. It was a perfect episode. It ate and left no crumbs whatsoever. I loved it. Nothing negative to say about it. But if I had one wish, I would want to see him put on the suit again soon. And I think we're going to see that in the next episode. Let me know what you guys thought about this in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And definitely stop in and see us during the Nerdcast. We're going to be live. If you're watching this on Thursday, we're going to be live tonight talking about Daredevil Born Again Episode 4. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.